The major key to your better future is you. It's just you. Against your doubts, against your excuses, against every reason to quit. And let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. If you can't push yourself, no one else will. The world will not hand you success. No one is coming to save you. You either get up and build the life you want, or you wait for a helping hand that may never come. And let me tell you, the people who win in life, they don't wait. They act, they push, they create, and they do it alone. All you need is a decision that says, I will do it alone if I have to. I will walk this road with or without applause, because my success is not dependent on others. It is dependent on me. You already have everything you need. The discipline, the drive, the power to change. It's already inside you. And once you stop depending on the world and start depending on yourself, you become unstoppable. There comes a time in life when a person has to make a decision. Will success be left to chance, or will it be a personal responsibility? Too many people wait for the right circumstances, the right mentor, the right opportunity, or the right partner. But success does not come from waiting. It comes from becoming the kind of person who attracts success. The real secret to wealth and achievement is self-reliance. When you understand that no one else is responsible for your future, you gain an extraordinary power. The power to shape your own life. The truth is, waiting for someone else to help you is a dangerous gamble. It places your financial success and future in the hands of others. What if they never come? What if they don't see your vision? What if they have their own battles to fight? The person you're waiting for to save you might be waiting for someone to save them. That's why the strongest foundation for success is built on personal responsibility. Wealth begins when you decide that your financial future is in your hands, no one else's. Now, this doesn't mean you reject advice or support when it comes. It means you don't depend on it. Because if success were dependent on others, then only those with the perfect mentor, the perfect connections, or the perfect upbringing would ever succeed. But that's not how it works. Wealth is built by those who take what they have, no matter how little, and develop it into something greater. There was a man who started with very little. He had no rich family, no powerful friends, no formal education in business. But what he did have was a hunger to succeed and a willingness to do whatever it took. He read books, studied successful people, worked late nights, and developed the skills necessary to build his own future. He understood that no one was coming to make him rich. He had to do it himself. Years later, people called him an overnight success, but he knew better. It was the result of years of self-reliance. Now, some may say, but isn't it easier to have someone guide you? Of course it is. But easy is not what builds wealth. The strongest, most successful individuals are those who have learned to stand on their own. Think of the oak tree. It starts as a small seed, growing slowly, facing storms, winds, and harsh weather. But because it stands firm through every challenge, it grows into something unshakable. That's what self-reliance does. To be truly wealthy, a person must develop the mindset that says, I will figure it out. That's the attitude that builds fortunes. When you face an obstacle, don't wait for someone to remove it. Learn to overcome it. When you lack knowledge, don't wait for a teacher. Become a student of life. When you have a dream, don't wait for approval. Give yourself permission. One of the great secrets to wealth is that money flows to those who prove they can handle it. Imagine lending money to two different people. One who always depends on others to get by, and another who is resourceful, disciplined, and always finds a way to make things work. Who would you trust more? Wealth follows the same principle. It rewards those who demonstrate self-reliance. Some might say, but what about networking and connections? Isn't success about knowing the right people? Yes, but here's the key. Powerful people don't want to associate with those who are weak and dependent. They want to connect with those who have built something on their own. Self-reliance is what attracts the right people. The truth is, financial independence starts with personal independence. If you cannot rely on yourself to manage your time, discipline your actions, and develop your skills, how can you ever expect to manage wealth? Money does not change habits, it magnifies them. If someone lacks discipline with a small amount, they will lack discipline with a large amount. If they wait for help when they have little, they will wait for help when they have much. Self-reliance is not just about working alone. It's about building the kind of character that does not depend on circumstances, people, or luck. It's about becoming the person who creates opportunities instead of waiting for them. The moment you take full responsibility for your wealth, your mindset shifts. You stop waiting, stop blaming, and stop wishing. Instead, you start doing, start learning, and start succeeding. That's when everything changes. Success requires focus. Not just any focus, but a relentless, disciplined focus on what truly moves you forward. The world is full of distractions, small, unimportant things that demand your attention, but add nothing to your future. And then there are doubts, the quiet voice that whispers, what if you fail, or what if you're not good enough? If you don't eliminate distractions and silence doubts, they will rob you of your time, energy, and potential. Distractions come in many forms. They might be people who pull you away from your goals, unnecessary entertainment that consumes your time, or bad habits that keep you from taking action. And the problem with distractions is that they don't feel dangerous at first. A little time wasted here, a little delay there. It doesn't seem like much. But over time, those small distractions add up. Suddenly, a year has passed, then 2. And you realize you're no closer to your financial goals than you were before. That's the danger of distractions. They steal your future one moment at a time. Think about how wealth is built. It's not built overnight. It's built through years of focus, through consistent daily effort in the right direction. Imagine an archer aiming at a target. If his attention is divided, if he's looking at the crowd, thinking about what others are saying or doubting his ability, will he hit the target? Of course not. The only way to succeed is to block out everything except the goal. That's what it takes to build wealth. It requires saying no to everything that does not move you forward. Doubts are just as dangerous. They come disguised as reasonable thoughts. Maybe this won't work. Maybe I should wait for a better time. But the truth is, doubt is just fear wearing a mask. It's the mind looking for an excuse to stay comfortable. And if you listen to it, you'll always find a reason to delay action. But here's something to remember. Success does not wait for doubt to disappear. It rewards those who move forward despite it. There was a time when I started working toward financial independence, and I had plenty of doubts. What if this doesn't work? What if I fail? But then I realized something. Successful people have the same doubts. The difference is, they don't listen to them. They act anyway. I decided that instead of questioning whether I could succeed, I would focus only on what needed to be done, and that's when everything changed. The key to eliminating distractions and doubts is discipline. You must train your mind to focus only on what builds your future. When distractions come, recognize them for what they are: time wasters, progress killers. When doubts arise, remind yourself that fear is not a reason to stop. It's a reason to push forward. A practical way to do this is to develop a habit of evaluation. At the end of each day, ask yourself, did I move closer to my goals today, or was my time consumed by things that don't matter? If something is not helping you progress, it's a distraction. Cut it out. If a thought is making you hesitate instead of act, it's doubt. Ignore it. Success comes to those who master this discipline. I once knew a man who was talented, ambitious, and full of potential. But every time he got started on something important, he allowed distractions to pull him away. One week he was focused on his business, the next he was caught up in meaningless activities. He never built momentum because he never learned to focus. Years passed, and while others who had started with less were building their fortunes, he was still struggling. Not because he wasn't capable, but because he never eliminated distractions and doubt. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It's the ability to stay focused. Wealth is not complicated. The steps to financial success are clear. Invest wisely, develop valuable skills, take action, and stay consistent. But most people never get there because they allow distractions to steal their time and doubts to weaken their resolve. If you want to be wealthy, you must be ruthless with your focus. Remove everything that does not serve your future. Silence every doubt that makes you hesitate. The moment you do this, you'll notice something incredible. Progress will come faster. Opportunities will appear, and success will no longer be a distant dream. It will become a reality. Most people quit long before they reach success. They start with excitement, full of plans and energy, but somewhere along the way, they stop. They say it's too hard, too slow, too uncertain, but the truth is they never truly learned how to keep going. Success is not about starting strong. It's about finishing strong. And to finish strong, you have to become your own biggest supporter. Why do people quit? They quit when results don't come fast enough. They quit when challenges feel overwhelming. They quit when they face criticism or when the people around them don't believe in their vision. And the worst part? They justify quitting. They say, maybe this wasn't for me, or I gave it my best shot. But the reality is, quitting is just an easy escape from struggle. It's the mind's way of avoiding discomfort. Building wealth, creating success, reaching your financial goals. These things don't happen overnight. They take years of effort, discipline, and persistence. But here's what makes the difference. Those who succeed find a way to keep going, no matter what. And the way to do that is simple. You must learn to rely on yourself for motivation, encouragement, and belief. There was a time when I struggled to stay committed. I had doubts. I faced setbacks. And there were moments when I thought, maybe this isn't working. But then I realized something. Waiting for motivation from the outside is a mistake. If you depend on other people to keep you going, you'll never last. Sometimes no one will believe in you. Sometimes the results will be invisible. But if you train yourself to be your own biggest supporter, nothing can stop you. A businessman once told me a story about his early days. He had started a small company, and for the first 2 years, he barely made a profit. His family questioned him. His friends doubted him. And many times he thought about giving up. But every time he felt like quitting, he told himself, I didn't come this far just to stop. He kept going, even when no one believed in him. And after 5 years, his business became a massive success. He later said, the difference between me and the others, they stopped. I didn't. That's the secret. Keep going no matter what. How do you do this? First, remind yourself why you started. If your goal is financial freedom, remind yourself what that means. Maybe it means never worrying about money again. Maybe it means providing a better future for your family. Whatever your reason, hold on to it. When the journey gets hard, your reason will keep you moving forward. Second, celebrate small wins. Success is not built in one big step. It's built in 1,000 small steps. Every bit of progress matters. If you save your first $1,000, celebrate it. If you make your first investment, acknowledge it. These small victories build momentum and keep you motivated. Third, control your environment. Surround yourself with people, books, and ideas that push you forward. If you spend time with those who doubt and discourage you, you'll start doubting yourself. But if you constantly feed your mind with success principles, you'll stay strong. And finally, make a decision. A real decision that no matter what happens, quitting is not an option. When you remove the possibility of quitting, something changes. You stop looking for an escape and you start looking for solutions. Most people fail because they stop too soon. They give up just before the breakthrough. But those who succeed are not necessarily the smartest or the luckiest. They are simply the ones who refuse to stop. Be one of them. Keep going, no matter what. Because on the other side of struggle is everything you've ever wanted. Motivation is easy when you have a crowd cheering for you, when people are encouraging you, when success feels close. But what about when you're alone? What about when no one is watching, no one is applauding, and no one is checking on your progress? That's when most people lose momentum. They slow down, they hesitate. Some even stop altogether. But real success belongs to those who can stay motivated, even in silence. Because the truth is, the journey to wealth and achievement is often a lonely one. Most people are waiting for motivation to come from the outside. They look for the right words, the right book, the right mentor to push them forward. But external motivation is temporary. If you rely on it, you'll always be searching for the next source of inspiration, the next speech, the next encouragement. What you need is internal motivation, an unstoppable inner drive that keeps you moving no matter what. And the only way to develop that is to take control of your own mind. One of the greatest lessons in life is this: discipline creates motivation, not the other way around. Most people think they need to feel motivated before they take action, but it's actually the opposite. You take action first, and motivation follows. Imagine someone who wants to get in shape. If they wait to feel inspired to go to the gym, they'll never start. But if they commit to going, even on the days they don't feel like it, something interesting happens. The more they do it, the more motivated they become. The same principle applies to wealth building. Take action first, and the drive to continue will come. Another key to staying motivated is having a clear vision. Most people lose motivation because they forget why they started. They get caught up in the daily struggles, the slow progress, the setbacks. But if you have a strong enough reason, you won't need external motivation. You'll generate your own. A young entrepreneur once told me about his early days in business. He was broke, working long hours and barely making progress. But he had a vision, financial freedom, a better future, complete independence. Every time he felt like quitting, he reminded himself why he started. He imagined the life he was building, and that kept him moving forward. Years later, he achieved his goals, not because it was easy, but because his vision was stronger than his doubts. Another powerful way to build inner drive is through self-talk. The way you speak to yourself determines how long you'll last in the game of success. Most people talk themselves out of success. They say, "I'm not good enough," or "it's taking too long," or "maybe this isn't for me." And with that kind of thinking, quitting becomes easy. But the ones who succeed tell themselves a different story. They say, "I can figure this out. Every step forward is progress, and success is inevitable if I keep going." They program their minds for persistence. The environment you create for yourself also plays a role. If you're surrounded by negativity, doubt, and distractions, staying motivated will feel like an uphill battle. But if you fill your life with inspiration, books, audios, successful people, you'll keep your fire burning. A man once told me he changed his entire mindset just by reading 10 pages of a success book every day. It shifted his thinking, and that shift in thinking led to action. But perhaps the most important key to staying motivated is learning to enjoy the process. Most people are only focused on the destination. They say, "I'll be happy when I'm rich. I'll be motivated when I see results." But the ones who last, the ones who build real success, they find a way to love the journey. They embrace the struggle. They see progress in every small step. And because of that, they never run out of motivation. If you can stay motivated when no one is watching, when no one is encouraging you, when no one believes in you, then nothing can stop you. Because true success starts within. Stay driven, and the rewards will come. Success is not an accident. Wealth is not a matter of luck. It's not about being in the right place at the right time. It's about what you do every single day, the small, seemingly insignificant choices you make. Those are the things that shape your future. Most people underestimate the power of daily habits. They think success is about making one big move, one big decision. But success is built on what you do consistently, not what you do occasionally. If you want wealth, if you want freedom, it starts with the habits you build into your life. A man once told me he wanted to be financially independent. He had big dreams, big ideas. But when I asked about his daily routine, he hesitated. He wasn't reading about wealth. He wasn't learning about investing. He wasn't taking action. He was just hoping things would change. But wealth doesn't come from hope. It comes from habits. If you don't change what you do daily, your future will look exactly like your past. The first habit that guarantees success is planning your day with intention. Most people wake up and let the day happen to them. They react to emails. They react to problems. They react to distractions. But successful people don't live in reaction mode. They take control. They decide in advance how they're going to use their time. A businessman once told me the greatest shift in his life happened when he started planning his days the night before. Instead of waking up without direction, he knew exactly what needed to be done. That one habit increased his productivity, his income, and his confidence. Another key habit is learning every day, not once a month, not when it's convenient, every single day, because what you know determines what you do, and what you do determines what you have. If you're not growing, you're standing still. A young entrepreneur once shared how reading just 10 pages of a book on wealth every day completely transformed his mindset. At first, it didn't seem like much, but after a year, he had absorbed more financial wisdom than most people learn in a lifetime. That knowledge gave him the ideas and confidence to take action. Success is also built on the habit of discipline, doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. Most people rely on motivation, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Discipline, however, is the ability to keep going no matter how you feel. A man once told me he struggled to save money. Every time he got paid, he spent everything, so he made one small change. He set up an automatic transfer to his savings account. The money was gone before he even had a chance to spend it. That one disciplined habit turned him into a saver instead of a spender. One of the most important daily habits is controlling your thoughts. Most people let fear, doubt, and negativity run their minds, and whatever fills your mind controls your actions. But successful people develop the habit of feeding their minds with the right thoughts. They remind themselves of their goals. They focus on solutions, not problems. They refuse to dwell on failure. A struggling businessman once told me he used to wake up every morning thinking about his debts, his mistakes, his fears. And because of that, he was stuck. But the day he started focusing on opportunity instead of problems, his entire life changed. The truth is, your habits predict your future. Show me your daily routine, and I'll show you where you'll be in 5 years. If you want success, build the habits that create success. Wealth isn't built in a day, but it is built daily. The question is, what are you doing with each day? Because in the end, your habits decide your future. Confidence and resilience are not things you are born with. They are things you train yourself to have. And if you want to succeed, if you want to build wealth, you must develop an unshakable belief in yourself. Because life will test you. Business will test you. Finances will test you. And if you are not prepared, if your mind is not strong, you will break under the pressure. But those who succeed are the ones who refuse to break. They bend, they adjust, they learn, but they never quit. A young man once told me he lacked confidence. He wanted to start a business, but he was afraid. He kept asking, what if I fail? And that's the problem most people have. They focus on failure before they even begin. But here's the truth. Confidence isn't something you have first. It's something you build by taking action. Every time you step forward, every time you do something difficult, you add to your confidence. A man who trains in the gym doesn't wait until he's strong to lift weights. He lifts weights to become strong. And the same is true with confidence. You don't wait to feel ready. You take action, and that action makes you ready. Resilience is built the same way. Most people let setbacks destroy them. They try something once, it doesn't work, and they quit. But successful people see failure as a lesson, not a loss. A businessman once told me he lost everything: his business, his home, even his confidence. But instead of giving up, he made a decision. He studied his mistakes. He learned where he went wrong. He used the experience to make better choices. And when he started again, he was stronger. Within 5 years, he was wealthier than ever. Not because he never failed, but because he never let failure define him. One of the best ways to train your mind for confidence and resilience is by controlling your self-talk. Most people talk themselves out of success. They say, I'm not good enough. I don't have experience. I'm not smart enough. And if you repeat those words enough, you start to believe them. But successful people train themselves to speak differently. They say, I will figure it out. I will improve. I will succeed. And that shift in words creates a shift in results. A young entrepreneur once told me he struggled with doubt. Every time he faced a challenge, he thought about quitting, so he made one change. Every morning, he wrote down 3 reasons why he would succeed. He repeated those reasons throughout the day. And over time, his thinking changed. His confidence grew. He became the kind of person who found solutions instead of excuses. Another key to resilience is perspective. Most people see obstacles as stop signs, but the truth is every obstacle is an opportunity to grow. A struggling salesman once told me he hated rejection. Every time a client said no, he felt defeated. But one day he changed his perspective. He started seeing every no as one step closer to a yes. Instead of taking rejection personally, he used it as motivation. And the moment his perspective changed, his results changed. He became one of the top earners in his company, not because the rejection stopped, but because he stopped letting it break him. Confidence and resilience are built through repetition. The more you face difficulty, the stronger you become. The more you take action, the more capable you feel. And the more you train your mind to focus on solutions instead of problems, the more unstoppable you become. Because success isn't about never failing, it's about never stopping. And once you train your mind to keep going no matter what, nothing will be able to hold you back. Most people think success comes in one big moment, one lucky break, one massive leap. But that's not how it works. Success is not one giant step. It's a series of small steps, taken consistently, that add up over time. And here's the secret. If you get just 1% better every day, if you make just a little progress each day, in 1 year, you won't be the same person. You won't just be slightly better. You'll be massively ahead, because small improvements done daily compound into extraordinary results. A young man once told me he wanted to be wealthy, but he didn't know where to start. He was overwhelmed. So I gave him a simple challenge: save $1 extra a day. Just $1. At first, it seemed too small to matter. But after a month, he had $30. After 6 months, he had $180. And by the end of the year, he had built a habit of saving. And more importantly, he had changed the way he thought about money. He started making better financial decisions. He started investing. And in a few years, his wealth started to multiply. All because he made small, consistent improvements instead of waiting for a big breakthrough. That's how growth works. If you improve by just 1% every day, whether in your finances, your business, or your skills, you won't just see slow progress. You'll see exponential growth, because improvement compounds over time. A businessman once told me he struggled to stay productive. He wanted to work harder, but he couldn't focus for long hours. So instead of forcing himself to work longer, he made a small change. He improved his focus by just 5 minutes a day. The first day, he worked 5 minutes longer. The next day, another 5. And after a few months, he had doubled his productivity without burning out. Most people quit because they think small improvements don't matter. But that's a mistake, because small improvements repeated consistently create massive change. A young salesman once asked me how to become a top earner. He thought he needed to double his sales overnight. But instead, I told him to improve his pitch by just 1% every day. Maybe adjust his tone, maybe change a sentence, maybe add one extra follow-up. He did it, and after a few months, his sales skyrocketed. Not because of one big change, but because of small improvements that added up. The problem is, most people want results now. They want success overnight. But that's not how success works. Success rewards patience, consistency, and daily effort. A man once told me he wanted to get in shape, but he wasn't seeing results fast enough. So he quit. But if he had stuck with small improvements, just 10 minutes of exercise a day, just one better meal choice a day, he would have transformed his body over time. And the same is true for wealth. You don't become rich in one day, but if you improve your financial habits by just 1% each day, in a year you'll be in a completely different position. It's not about how fast you go. It's about showing up every day and getting just a little better. Because if you do that, you won't just improve, you'll change your entire future. Success isn't about making one big move. It's about making small, smart moves every single day, until one day you look back and realize you've built something extraordinary. Most people spend their lives consuming. They buy things they don't need, spend money they don't have, and wonder why wealth always seems out of reach. But the wealthy think differently. They don't just consume, they produce. They create value. They build businesses. They invest. And that mindset shift from consumer to producer is what separates the rich from the poor. A man once told me he struggled financially. He worked hard, but no matter how much he earned, he was always broke by the end of the month. So I asked him, "Where does your money go?" He started listing his expenses. New clothes, entertainment, the latest gadgets. Everything he earned, he spent on things that didn't make him richer. That's the consumer mindset. The poor think about what they can buy next. The wealthy think about what they can create next. Producers don't just spend, they build. They look for ways to create value. A young man once came to me and said he wanted to be wealthy. I asked him, "What do you produce?" He was confused. He thought wealth came from making money, not from creating value. But money follows value. If you want to be rich, you have to create something. Products, services, businesses, investments. Producers don't wait for someone else to give them wealth. They make it. The difference in mindset is simple. Consumers think about today. They ask, "What can I buy now?" Producers think about tomorrow. They ask, "What can I build now?" A man once told me he wanted to invest, but didn't have enough money. So I asked, "Where does your money go?" He admitted he spent hundreds every month on things that lost value. If he had shifted his mindset and invested just a small portion of his income, he would have started building wealth instead of just spending it. That's why most people never get rich. They think wealth is about how much you earn. But it's not about what you make. It's about what you do with what you make. A young woman once told me she wanted financial freedom, but she spent every dollar she earned. So I challenged her to save and invest just 10% of her income. At first, it seemed small, but over time, it grew. She started thinking differently. She became a producer, not just a consumer. And years later, she had built real wealth. The truth is, the world rewards producers. People who create, who solve problems, who bring value. They are the ones who get ahead. A businessman once told me he wanted to make more money, but he was stuck. So I asked him, "Are you consuming or producing?" He realized he was spending all his time on entertainment, distractions, and unnecessary expenses. Once he shifted his mindset and started focusing on creating value, his income followed. Wealth is a result of choices. Every dollar you earn is a decision. Will you consume it, or will you use it to produce more? The poor spend first and invest what's left. Usually nothing. The wealthy invest first and spend what's left. A small shift, but it makes all the difference. A man once told me he wanted to retire rich. I asked him, "What are you building?" He had no answer. Wealth doesn't just happen. It's built, step by step, by those who choose to be producers. If you want to change your financial future, stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like a producer. Find ways to create, to invest, to build something that lasts. Because once you make that shift, wealth isn't a question of if, it's only a question of when. Success is not just about intelligence, talent, or resources. It's about emotional control. The ability to keep moving forward, even when frustration, fear, or disappointment set in, is what separates those who succeed from those who quit. Most people give up, not because they lack ability, but because they let their emotions dictate their actions. If you want to win in life, you must master your emotions instead of letting them master you. A young man once told me he wanted to build a business, but every time he faced rejection, he lost motivation. I asked him, "Do your emotions control your decisions?" He admitted they did. One bad day, one negative comment, and he'd lose focus. But emotions are temporary. Decisions should not be. I told him, if you quit every time you feel discouraged, you'll never get anywhere. Success is about discipline, not feelings. The ones who succeed are the ones who keep showing up, no matter how they feel. Feelings are unreliable. One day, you're excited and ready to take on the world. The next day, doubt creeps in and you start second-guessing yourself. If you rely on feelings to keep going, you'll stop the moment things get tough. A man once told me he started investing but panicked when the market dropped. He sold everything at a loss, then watched as the market rebounded. His emotions cost him a fortune. The wealthy stay calm. They trust the process. They don't let fear control their decisions. Discipline beats emotion every time. A woman once told me she wanted to get in shape, but she only exercised when she felt like it. That's why she never saw results. Winners don't wait for the right mood. They do what needs to be done, regardless of how they feel. A businessman once said, "I don't like making sales calls." I told him, "Do it anyway." Because the key to success is simple. Do it anyway. When fear says, "Stop, keep going," when doubt whispers, "This isn't working," trust the process. Most people quit right before their breakthrough. A man once told me he was tired of struggling, that success was taking too long. I asked, "How long have you been working?" He said, 6 months. 6 months. I told him, people work for years before they see real results. The ones who win are the ones who outlast their emotions. They don't stop when they're tired. They stop when they're done. Emotions come and go, but habits create results. If you can develop the habit of taking action regardless of your feelings, you'll become unstoppable. A man once asked, "How do I stay motivated every day?" I told him, "You don't need motivation, you need discipline." Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. If you only work when you feel good, you'll never succeed. But if you work whether you feel like it or not, nothing can stop you. There will be days when everything in you wants to quit, days when progress feels slow, when setbacks test your patience. Those are the days that define you. A young entrepreneur once told me he wanted to shut down his business after a tough year. I told him, if you quit now, all your effort is wasted. But if you push through, you'll come out stronger. He stayed the course. Today, his business is thriving, not because he never felt like quitting, but because he never let those feelings control him. Mastering emotional control means understanding that success isn't about how you feel, it's about what you do. If you keep moving forward when others stop, if you stay focused when others get distracted, if you trust the process when others panic, you will succeed. Not because it was easy, but because you refused to quit. Success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming more valuable. And the only way to become more valuable is through continuous learning and growth. Most people stop learning after they leave school. They think education ends with a diploma, but real education, the kind that leads to success, never ends. It's a lifelong process. The moment you stop learning, you stop growing. And the moment you stop growing, you start falling behind. A man once told me he wanted to earn more money. I asked him, "What have you learned lately that would make you worth more?" He had no answer. The marketplace pays for value. If you want more, you must become more. The key to wealth is simple. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. A company can fire you, but no one can take away your skills, your knowledge, or your wisdom. These are the real assets that determine your future. Growth is not automatic. Just because time passes doesn't mean you're improving. Some people have 10 years of experience, but it's really 1 year, repeated 10 times. They never grow because they never push themselves to learn something new. A businessman once told me he'd been stuck at the same income level for years. I asked, "How many books have you read about business?" He said, "None." "How many seminars have you attended?" "None." "How many new skills have you learned?" "None." His income was stuck because his growth was stuck. Every successful person is obsessed with learning. Read their biographies. The wealthiest people are the ones who never stop expanding their minds. A young man once asked me, "What's the fastest way to success?" I told him, "Learn faster. Read more books. Study the greats. Find mentors." Success leaves clues, but only those who are paying attention will find them. Most people aren't failing because they lack opportunity. They're failing because they lack knowledge. Some say, "I don't have time to learn," but here's the truth. You don't have time not to learn. The world is changing faster than ever. If you're not growing, you're falling behind. Imagine two people working in the same job. One spends his free time watching television. The other spends his time reading, learning, and developing new skills. Who do you think will move ahead? Who will get the promotion? Who will build wealth? The answer is obvious. A man once told me he wanted to start investing but didn't know where to begin. I told him, "Have you read any books on investing?" He said, "No." Have you studied those who have succeeded? No. Then how do you expect to win? Success is never an accident. It's a result of preparation, and preparation comes from learning. The best investment you can make is not in stocks, real estate, or businesses. It's in yourself. Someone once asked, what if I spend years learning and growing and still fail? I told him, if you grow, you will never fail. Because success is not just about reaching a goal. It's about becoming the kind of person who can reach any goal. Those who are obsessed with learning will always rise to the top. They will find opportunities where others see obstacles. They will adapt when others struggle. They will thrive when others quit. Because when you commit to lifelong learning, you are constantly improving, constantly growing, and constantly becoming more valuable to the marketplace. And when you do that, success is inevitable.